Hello, Schmoville. Episode 54 of the Schmoes Know podcast, Phase 3. It was still at the morning show at this point, and this episode was a tad crazy. It was a steamy episode for a myriad of reasons, and one of those being the topic. The topic was sex in the movies, as you have seen in this title alone. Now, there are a lot of very fun things in general in this podcast. One was our guest. If you are a fan of the show and you've been following us for a while, then you will not be surprised to know that Bonnie Somerville is on the show, and she is a very knowledgeable actress and has a great back and forth with both myself and Mark Ellis. We had a lot of fun talking about these movies with her. We had a great kind of inside joke, pun intended, to talk about this stuff that was some of the great scenes in movie history when it came to sex scenes. So, the other thing that was kind of interesting in this episode was if you listen to a particular caller in this episode, you might hear the man who is now referred to as Jeté. Josh the intern, formerly known as Josh the intern, now Josh the engineer, called in. You can get his call in this one as well. Little did he know that just in a few months from this phone call, he would be an intern getting slapped in the face by Roddy Piper. Too many beeps and whistles going off here. Anyway, this is a very fun episode. It's a good one. There's a lot of back and forth. It was the episode. Bonnie went away to film Golden Boy right after this, so this was before. Again, if you'd watched a lot of Phase 3 later on, you see that Bonnie started to. Once we got into the nighttime phase, she was throwing a couple more punches towards me, but that's later on. This was pretty civil for the most part. Take a listen. If you want to watch the full episode, the link is in the description. So enjoy this episode of the Schmoes Know Movies podcast, Sex in the Movies, with special guest Bonnie Somerville. Enjoy.
Live from Universal Studios Hollywood in beautiful Los Angeles, California.
ToadHopNetwork.com.
Radio worth watching.
Radio worth watching.
I always love the sound of that in the morning. It is the Schmoes Know podcast with me, Christian Harloff, and my cohort,
Mark Ellis.
Yay! All right.
Me. You know what I love in the morning? We tape our Schmoes Know podcast at Universal City Walk, and coming in today, they were blasting. Did you guys hear the Jurassic Park theme song? And it just feels so good to hear
absolutely.
that John Williams score in the morning. The only thing I'd rather hear in the morning than the Jurassic Park theme song.
What's that?
Foghat's I Just Want to Make Love to You.
Of course.
So, it's a good morning for Mark Ellis.
It's a great morning for you because what it does is it sets us up perfectly for the topic that we're talking today. I want to give a little disclaimer to everyone out there. This is going to be a little racier than the majority of the Schmoes shows. We're going to be talking a lot of kind of racy stuff when it comes to the sex scenes. But Mark, I want you to channel...
Wait, did you say sex scenes?
Exactly. I want you to channel your 13-year-old right here because...
He's already there. He's been hanging out for the majority of our relationship.
Okay, we'll go back in time and I'm going to say, okay, Mark, here's what we're going to do.
Okay.
13-year-old Mark Ellis.
I'm listening.
I'm going to allow you to sit down for a full hour and talk about sex with a hot blonde Hollywood actress. How do you feel about that?
Where do my parents sign the permission slip?
Okay. And that being said, we are joined today by Schmoes Know friend and very talented, beautiful, sexy, lovely, and the star of Golden Boy, the new CBS show coming out mid-season. That would be Bonnie Somerville.
Hi, guys.
How are you? Jeff, how's our mic? Is it all right? Are we good? Let's hear. So, Bonnie, how you doing?
Hello.
Oh, sexy.
Oh, there she is.
There we go. Okay. So
if you were like, hey, 13-year-old Mark, you get to hang out with a hot actress, and she can't talk at all, I'm signing up for that.
That's your dream, right?
I think she's still a little low, but we'll figure this out. Everything's a little awry, but what we will be doing today is we're going to be talking.
This is like a Mark Ellis sex scene right here.
It is.
Things aren't working, parts malfunctioning.
Yeah, this is the awkwardness. We're going to be talking about a lot of things. One of the main reasons I wanted to have Bonnie in here as well is because we're going to be. I want to get the actress's point of view as well. It's like certain things, like guys, and when we watch these movies and we see these sex scenes with the right director or whatever, it comes off kind of flawless. You know, sometimes, and the stuff that goes in behind it, and the way that
not only the behind the scenes stuff, like how you actually film a sex scene, but also just from the woman's perspective, because for the long now it's kind of equal with guys like Michael Fassbender that just love showing their junk everywhere.
Right.
Now it's kind of everybody gets to see both other sex's parts, but in the 90s, it was pretty much all boobs and then nothing for the ladies.
There's crazy stuff going on. This is something I don't want to.
Hello, how about Magic Mike opening this weekend? I'm definitely going to see that as soon as possible.
Of course, because that's the women's Avengers.
Yes.
Magic Mike is the women's Avengers.
Seriously. And for a change, they have their asses showing, 40 feet wide.
That's right. Can we maybe move her over here? We're just having a couple problems with the mic. Technical difficulties on the Schmoes No Show here this morning.
Our show didn't take that little blue pill.
She gets the big one.
Since it is a show about sex, I'm going to go with the big mic. Ew.
That's
Look
right.
at that. Speaking of Magic Mike.
We'll get Bonnie here too because we got to get her perspective.
We don't need Magic Mike. We just need a mic that works.
I know, it's true. We're going to have that, and we're going to have all this stuff. But one of the things, what's that? Yeah, someone's equipment is not working. Jeff, this is not good.
It happens to a lot of podcasts.
That's right. It does. It happens to a lot of live shows, and this is one of them. Way to go in the morning. So, all right. Now, one of the things I was looking at some of these scenes, and what makes me look there was a scene.
When do you tell your wife when you were researching for this podcast?
Research.
No, honey, I don't want to watch the scene when she touches herself in Sliver in the bathtub, but
Right.
I need to do research.
That's right. And well, let me ask Bonnie. Have you? Bonnie's been in a ton of movies. She's been in a hell of a lot of TV shows as well too. Have you ever done an actual sex scene in a film or TV?
I did a sex scene once in a miniseries, but it was very tame because it was supposed to be the 50s.
Okay.
So
That works.
For me, it was like sheets up to here and just kissing, but I've never done an actual real sex scene.
Okay, so that's but you. So
Is
that
it a goal? Is it a bucket list thing?
Absolutely.
Right, okay, well that's good to know too.
Why not?
I'm thinking maybe Bonnie should even maybe scoot in and just sit next to me, and we can do the maybe have a mic so we can hear what the hell she's saying because this is not until we get it ready. So let's so bear with Mark. Why don't you sing a song? What we said Bonnie, you want to grab your chair?
This is why my generation loves sex scenes. It's not just for the looking at what a hot chick looks like, because I grew up with the Squiggly Channel, and anybody my generation knows exactly what the Squiggly Channel is. It's what you would see when your parents wouldn't pay for the dirty cable channels, which thankfully my parents didn't, because I'm a well-adjusted adult now. And you'd watch it, and occasionally you'd see a boob or something. What Jim is looking for in American Pie. That's what guys of my generation looked for, and that's how we learned about sex. It wasn't my generation never got the talk from their dad.
Right.
My dad's talk to me about having sex was like, okay, there's birds and there's bees and they screw. Are we good here?
Right.
Are we done?
Right. Well, the 50s that's definitely a different time as far as even the way that they
The
shoot
50s. Were you born in the 50s?
Yes,
you look really good.
I am 58
you
years
look
old.
amazing.
No, but in regards to your scene and everything too, because I mean, you even had like the makeout scenes and the getting intense type stuff, like
The makeout scenes I've done a lot.
Right. Well, that's my question to see, because a lot of these things start out, and you get different answers from actresses and actors when you hear this stuff all the time, whether it be a really racy sex scene or it be something, even when two people are getting heated up. And the answer you always hear is, well, it's kind of hard sometimes and it's awkward because there's all these crew members around. But yet when they're in another scene, they're like, oh, I was so in the scene and I was a character, so I didn't notice anything. But
That's a bunch of bull.
Right. So
you don't even feel like you're in the character. It's so awkward. There's so many people standing around. It's
breathing,
totally
eating sandwiches,
choreographed.
craft service in the corner, cutting roast beef. You're trying to get
it's
it
so
on.
I mean, I don't know. Maybe I've never done something. Look, I've never done something like Angelina Jolie, per se, with Antonio Banderas.
Mm-hmm.
That movie.
What's the name of that movie, just for our younger
Original
viewers?
Sin.
Original Sin, man. That was some crazy. But maybe for them, because they're real, quote, actors. I don't know. But for me, it's always been nothing but awkwardness to kiss and make out with someone in front of a room full of 45 people, with a guy with a light right in your face.
Really, though? But, there's never a time, and that's, I guess, it's probably different for certain people, I guess, too, but there's never a time, like, let's say...
Well, you got Angelina Jolie, who enjoyed sleeping with her co-stars for a while there.
Well,
right.
And that's how she landed Brad Pitt. They had
Right.
a sex scene in that spy movie.
Did she land Brad Pitt, or did Brad Pitt land Angelina Jolie?
It's a push.
It's a push? Okay.
Yeah.
All right, now, so let's say, Bonnie, let's say you're single, and your co-star is single, and you're both super attractive, and you start, and the scene calls for you guys to be making out. Yes, it's awkward because there's people around. Some guy maybe have his pants off and have the boom mic, but the actual scene, you don't get.
Can we get a grip that's not jerking off in the middle of the
please.
scene?
Seriously,
Aren't
can
we
you
get
put
a
that
pro-
away? I can't focus.
So you've never gotten excited, like
No, I have
really?
never. But I have worked with people that have. I have actually felt a little excitement in a couple of scenes.
That's great.
And it's
Ross.
It's extremely uncomfortable when you're just like,
That's
oh,
great.
yeah.
That's why you have Christian Harloff on the show, because he asks the difficult questions, folks. What's it like afterwards? Like you're hanging out?
I just don't say anything. I just didn't say anything because it was just like I can imagine it's
Were
when
you
a guy-
impressed at least?
I was flattered, but I can imagine it's
Not
what
impressed.
a guy. Not impressed. No. Not impressed. But I could imagine it's what guys feel. I would think if if that happens during a massage, accidentally, and it's not an intentional massage, that type of massage,
Right.
and you're just like, oh.
Yeah.
Right. Like, oops.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, look, that's
Took every fiber of my being. I got my first and only massage in Hawaii, and it wasn't like super attractive, but she was cute, and they have you on the stones. And
Her name was
everything,
Ralph.
and you're laying down. She was a little hairy.
Yeah.
Her one eyebrow was gorgeous.
Hey, what happened?
But I held it together the whole time, and I was really proud of myself.
Good. I mean, I'm very proud of you. That's what we got. All right, we're sitting here. We're talking sex scenes in movies, sex in movies with Bonnie Somerville. We want you guys to tweet in at schmoes. And you also can call in. The number is 888-520-4374. We want to know your favorite sex scenes, awkward sex scenes. There was one that I saw, and it was with what's his face, the dude from The Office, Jim.
Oh.
What's his name?
Krasinski.
Yeah, John Krasinski, and with Maya Rudolph. And that movie that they did together, it was that I forget.
Oh yeah, that indie.
Yeah, it was that indie movie, and it starts off with him like going down on her.
Oh.
Yeah, and it's such an awkward scene, but it's like, and his head is like it's in there.
Yeah.
And you're going, okay, I'm thinking to myself, he gets up and he tells her, because they're married, and he goes, I don't know how to say this without, coming out the wrong way. She's like, why do you have to say anything at all? He's like, well, you taste different. But that scene in general is funny, but it's also, the thing is too, like, that is what I want to know is like, when that happens, like I don't know what John Krasinski and Maya Rudolph's relationship was, but his face is like buried into her privacy.
Yeah.
Right? So like,
I think her husband directed it, actually.
really? Okay, so even like,
That's
Yes.
even weirder.
so how do you like what happens there? Like let's say, Bonnie, you're in a scene. Okay, let's say that it is the big sex scene time that you have
Yeah.
to do one in a film, and it calls for someone to be going down on you when it starts. Okay, and like, so do you want the actor's
Casting
head?
you in a lot of good
Yeah.
stuff this
Yeah,
morning.
let
Bob.
me.
Do you want the
I'm gonna
actors-
go get a wax right after this.
Do you want the actor's head buried in there, or do you want it like to like just
Well,
cheat
it's
it?
simulated. It is cheated. I mean, it's not
I
actually.
don't know,
in
man.
there.
This guy's face looked like he was like like
But
those
it's-
little kids when they press up against the mirrors.
Yeah.
It looked like that. So I'm just saying, like, how. I mean, 'cause
I would
you
just
know
be so
sometimes-
disappointed if they're like, "Hey, Mark, you finally got the role you always wanted. You get to bury your face in a girl
Right.
in a movie," and then they're like, "Oh, here's the actress, and it's Maya Rudolph." I'm like, "What? Damn it!
Right. Well,
I've been had again."
especially after that shit scene in Bridesmaids. Now they have.
Oh,
They have like these, but there's also scenes. I think that like for that scene, probably yes, it was cheated. But then you get scenes that are clearly.
Well,
not
how about
cheated.
this scene? The sex scene that I was the most shocked at, if it was real or not. Monsters Ball.
Right.
I mean, come on, that was
So real and
so
awkward.
real and awkward, and about 20 minutes, no dialogue. I mean,
Yeah.
and her I mean, it was like uncomfortable looking. I thought, is it? Did they do it? I mean,
Yeah.
it's just like.
It is hardcore sex, and
Especially the orgasm she was having, they were just like real, like.
And that's the thing. Billy Bob Thornton is the type of guy that he will be like, look, we're method acting this thing. Don't you worry about it if something accidentally slips in, because it's not accidental.
Is that what he would say?
You know he would.
Okay,
Maybe
because
do
at that
Sling
time,
Blade.
Billy Bob is riding high on a wave of confidence, because I believe that's around the time he was wearing the vial of Angelina Jolie's
Yeah.
blood. So he's like,
Yeah.
I got Angie in the trailer waiting. I got Hallie on set. I am the man. Now my question is, like, okay, Christian.
Yeah.
Okay. Now you weren't always married,
No.
as we know.
Right.
At one point, there's rumors
He was
you were
born
dating-
married. What are you talking about?
Right, that's right.
Remember that rock
What do you
on his
mean?
finger?
He was
Right.
born with that ring.
That's right.
If you were dating an actress, right, which rumor has it you have, before you were married, engaged, betrothed,
Okay.
would you get jealous if she had a sex scene? Did that ever happen?
Yes. But no, I don't.
To which? To the hypothetical or the actual?
Yes.
I don't think you would get jealous because you are such a fan of movies and you've always been, and you've done, acting.
Fan of movies, not a
You've
fan of
done
another
comedy.
guy stuffing his-
No, but he's done acting. He's done comedy. He's like studied. I don't think he would.
Well, I think that the answer at the time was no, but the guy wasn't very attractive.
Oh, that makes it a lot
So I
easier.
didn't care. But like, if she's like kissing,
He's a
like,
better looking guy than me.
I've dated actors
push.
and they've had hot co-stars, and I am an actress, and it has made me very jealous.
right, and that's
Yeah.
and how do you like? How do
I
you separate
I
it?
think Harloff would hold it together for a day at the most, and then when the guy comes on set next day, he's like, "Oh yeah, I wasn't comfortable. We got to reshoot that." You're like, "Hang on, pal."
if my wife was an actress, okay, and then
Yeah.
and now they're going.
Oh yeah, you'd be so jealous
But
if it was her.
and now they say, honey, I just
just booked a big role. Oh yeah, who's your co-star? I have to have a sex scene. All right, who's your co-star? Is it like Pauly Shore? That's cool. No, Michael Fassbender. Fuck that. You are going to be, you're going to bag groceries with Ted.
I think I'd actually rather have my wife.
I'd actually rather have a sex scene with Ted, but
Then Fassbender?
Yeah.
You haven't seen Shame though.
No.
Like literally, like this.
But I have a thing for teddy bears. So what? Don't judge me.
You don't have a thing for elephant cocks because this guy, he literally.
I find that scary, to be honest. I've seen clips of
You
that.
and me both, sister.
Okay.
I mean, it's like Boogie Nights, and that was a prosthetic.
But now this is the thing.
Oh, really?
This is my theory with Shame, by the way.
Yeah, he wore a prosthetic in that scene.
No, I don't think you wore a prosthetic for
Boogie Nights. Yeah.
But for Shame, this is what I think. I think Fassbender knew that he was carrying a hammer down there.
Yeah.
So obviously he knew because he wakes up in the morning.
You'd hope he'd be aware of something
He's
like
so
that.
classy. He was carrying the hammer down there. Come on, we're for Queens here.
That's right.
We're Queens.
Well, what he does. So what he said is he did a movie with this guy already. And it was Steve McQueen. And he's like, okay, look, this is what I want to do. This is a hardcore movie, right? I want to show it off.
Yeah.
I want to let people know what I got down there because now everyone remembers that guy now. George Clooney's cracking jokes about him. And then you didn't need that scene in the beginning when he's just walking around knocking over plants. You didn't need that stuff.
I think showing your...
Well, welcome to the world of gratuitous nudity, men. How do you like it?
It's welcome,
Women have been dealing with it forever.
It's welcome to the world of award contention because showing your dong is the new playing a special ed guy.
Right.
All right.
Or a
What Tom
concentration
Hanks
camp
did.
victim.
Yeah. That it went from Schindler's List to Forrest Gump, and now if you show your hog, you're going to be in nomination.
That's
talk.
true, actually. There is. I mean, look at Kate Winslet. I mean, from
That's
Titanic to almost every movie she's ever
she
done,
loves showing
revolutionary.
them off.
She has shown.
But she
she's shown
doesn't.
everything off.
And Halle Berry, right?
But there's a difference.
Yeah,
Though,
well,
like when you have like someone like I hate to call it, but Shannon Elizabeth will show her bombs here and there, and this isn't the best actress in the world, but she's still fun to look at.
Not the best actress.
I'm just saying. And Kate Winslet,
You
however,
get that mug that says "World's Best
yeah,
Actress."
but Kate Winslet, however, is a fantastic actress. So
she
normally
is.
the roles that she's showing them off, it's like it fits into the role.
She really does say, like for The Reader, for example. I mean, there are certain.
She's pretty damn naked.
There
in
are
that movie.
certain scenes though that I guess yes, if you are an amazing actor, if it's necessary,
Right.
Yeah.
100%.
Right.
100%. But a lot of, I mean, when we're not talking about Road Trip or American Pie. I mean,
right.
that's gratuitous. That's just silly.
Kate Winslet starring in National Lampoon's Spring Break.
Exactly. You're never going to see that. But like when you're talking
Kate
about
Winslet plays a hidden Nazi, and when she goes to Cancun for a week, zaniness ensues.
All hell breaks loose.
This summer.
but Bonnie,
From the creators of Revolutionary Road.
Those revolutionary tits.
All right, now when you said that welcome to the world of showing off
Well, because I just think growing up as an actor, I would constantly see, and people always ask. I mean, look, even on NYPD Blue, when I signed the waiver, when I got that job, I was on the last season. Part of this was before HBO, before all that. I think HBO. I mean, maybe that was just The Sopranos on because this was in 2006. I don't know. Anyway. It was one of the parts was Stephen Bochco. You have to sign a release that you will show either, but it's so funny because it's written in left butt cheek, not right half butt cheek, left side boob, only quarter of the boob. Like your lawyer actually negotiates, and in the language is half side breasts, no full. I swear to God, and that was part of. You have to sign it.
I'm a upper southeast boob kind of guy.
Right, but they say I read an article with Emmy Rossum, right? Emmy Rossum in Shameless.
Yeah.
And she was making a joke about the same thing, that her contract is so funny in Shameless. It's like, we'll show left butt cheek, not above butt cheek, not below. These are actually things your lawyer can put in to save you from doing too much or whatever.
Yeah, but it's so funny though. Again, it's.
I want to be in that negotiation room when they're like, "Look, we need 3/4 of a tit, or this
they say
picture
3/4.
doesn't work."
It said 3/4. I swear to God, that's true.
I believe it, but it shows you like the politics behind the answers when people are asked like these questions. How is it? Oh, well, we're so in the.
I'm like, really? I'll show it now. I might as well. I'm not getting any younger.
You're already practically cuddling with the co-host of the show.
Seriously, I mean, if I'm going to get it out there, I want it now. Although Helen Mirren is an inspiration to everybody because when you look like that, God bless her, show it. Seriously.
Oh yeah, and Mark still
Jane
loves.
Fonda.
Helen Mirren is still a very attractive
creepy.
woman.
She really is.
Now the thing again with Fassbender, because the thing you have
a thing about it's weird that you want to keep talking about this.
This is what we're going to do,
ginormous
Bonnie.
penis.
We're going to let him close up with Fassbender, and this is the last we're going to mention that.
Maybe
thing.
I should move over there because it might get a little messy here. This seems to be really into this.
What I'm saying is the fact that because that scene in general, not just in the beginning there, because there are a lot of awkward sex scenes in general that he had to go through in that because. my point is, as far as like committing to where you are, like, you maybe don't pay attention to anyone else in the room, because there's a lot of times with him what he does, like he's got that crazy threesome scene that is just like gratuitous, but it's like
every week on Game of Thrones.
Yeah,
That's right.
It's absolutely right.
Well, so I've heard.
But then he has the dude, and then he's then he goes one-on-one with the guy. So like he goes on.
Really? Can I borrow that today?
Yeah, he's every Spectre he goes. So it's just you really have to embrace something.
Yeah, that's hardcore.
Yeah.
I mean,
it's tough.
That would be tough for
yeah.
me.
All right, we're gonna take a phone call. I don't know who we got here, but we're gonna take a call. Who we got? Hello. Anybody?
Hey, what's going on, man?
Hey, who do we got?
This is Josh, aka J-Tap.
What's up, Josh? What do you got for us, dude?
What's up, man? We got to talk about one of the best love scenes in movie history, in my opinion. It's got to be Patrick Swayze in Roadhouse with Kelly Lynch.
Oh, that is a great call. Oh my
great.
God,
Dude, that's a good one. Thank you so much. And why I also remember that is because my dad was the type of guy too. You know, after his divorce, he's like, and I was old enough to be like, "Hey, look, tits."
Yeah.
You know? and he would show us, and like that scene, I remember.
that was hardcore for the time.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And it's, especially when you have this hardcore action movie, and then you got Swayze, the dirty dancing all over the place. In that movie.
Yeah.
That's so funny. I remember watching that like all the time. It used to run on TBS or reruns, and I would always get sucked into watching that movie.
Right.
Kelly Lynch had a nice little run there when she was like the hot chick in those kind of movies.
Remember Drugstore Cowboy with Matt Dillon? She was hot.
That's right. Curly Sue, Jim Belushi lands. As soon as Jim Belushi lands you in a movie, your career's done. If they're like, wait, Jim Belushi can attain this, we don't need to hire her.
There's so many different kind of levels, because there are sex scenes that you see on television, in the movies that you're like, okay, wait a minute, that's pretty hot.
Yeah.
Or that's just strange, that's awkward. So we want to know from you guys what scenes you think are awkward, stuff that, God bless you, things that you think are awkward, things that you think were great. Call in and talk to us, 888-520-4374.
That's our ringtone.
Yeah,
call us here at the Toad Hop Network.
We're going to take another call. This is from George. George, hey, what's up, buddy?
Hey, what's up, guys?
What do you got?
I got two things. My first question is, Bonnie, sex scenes in general on film are so technical, and shadows here and shadows there, and the lighting and everything has to be perfect. Like, does that make you more uncomfortable?
Yeah.
And also, if you had the chance to work with someone like David Cronenberg, who does all these films,
talk about sex scene.
Crazy sexual and often very violent. Would you wanna work with him and a script from him? Because
I mean, I love him as a filmmaker for sure. I think
Bonnie, here's the scene. You're gonna have an orgasm through the top of your head. It's gonna explode.
Yeah, and then we're gonna kill you.
Right, well.
Or you're gonna have a mishap with a choking sex scene. No, I would, because I if it's for if it's for a role like that in a movie that I think is so amazing and it makes sense, absolutely, because you want to push yourself as an actor. There's no sense in just doing the same thing. I just, for me personally, I would have to really love the director and love the role, because it's just not something I would be so it would be a big deal for me to do that, so I'd have to work with someone like that caliber that I trust, because it's just, some people don't care. For me, it would be awkward.
Right. Well, I mean, again, but do you really know that though? Again, like, what if you were so? Because Bonnie's a really good actress. So, like, what if you're so into that role?
Yeah, maybe
so into
not.
that character. Because look at what's her face in a Cronenberg movie with
Maria Bello,
with Aragorn. And they're on the stairs there.
I got to see that picture.
But see, that I thought
violence.
was really that to me wouldn't be awkward, because that was more about the violence than the sex. That was more about just they were at the end of your rope, and you might never see each other again, and you're just that I could. That I wouldn't find awkward.
Right, because it's
but
not...
Monsters Ball, I mean, if the director was directing that kind of I'd be like, okay, well, clear the set. I mean, like this,
Those seem like the hardest ones, because it's all well and dandy to have a sex scene when both people are having fun. Oh, hey, this is great.
Yeah, that I've done. Make-out scenes, silly make-out. I've done a lot of comedy.
But like
that's
that
easy.
scene at the end of Unfaithful when they're on the stairs and he's like getting at her from behind one lap because she's crying because she's like, I can't do this anymore, but it's really a lot of fun.
Right. Yeah.
But
and even in the bathroom stall, like that was intense.
Yeah.
That was really intense.
I was worried they were going to get caught. I'm always that Boy Scout that's like, somebody's going to walk in. You have to stop.
And that's why it was good.
Yeah, and it's so interesting though. Again, hearing the woman's perspective on it, because again, guys, like perfect example is that what's that movie that Philip Seymour Hoffman and Marissa Tomei did. The Devil's Inside, whatever the hell that movie was.
Devil Inside Me?
Nah.
They have a sex scene?
Yeah.
Philip Seymour Hoffman?
Dude, it opens.
Good for the other side. All right.
It opens up.
Capote in the nude.
He's just taking her from behind. And, like, it looks like, what was John Candy's character in Spaceballs?
Barf?
It looks like Barf going to town on Jespa.
You have the best analogies ever.
It really, like, I just, I mean, and it's just so, but she's, like, going to town.
Well, how about Marissa Tomei, you know, playing the stripper? She was,
The Wrestler.
For The Wrestler, she was nominated. I mean, even that, like,
and the nudity,
that to me, I would
Bonnie,
find so
when you see
hard.
this scene, I gotta find this scene, because, like, you see this scene, and
But isn't that more funny and comical?
no, this scene, like,
Sorry, I just think of Philip Seymour Hoffman Doggy Style, and I just think it's a comedy.
It's crazy because
If you had to sleep with Phil Hoffman, though, wouldn't you elect to go doggy style? So you're like, I'm just going to look at the headboard.
Totally.
I know, no, it's crazy because
That I think would be easier because you're not eye to eye,
Right.
and I'd be able to act it more.
I'm just going to flip through this cookbook while Philip Seymour Hoffman does whatever
Sorry, do you
he
mind
feels
if I
like.
do my nails?
Yeah, well, and the thing is, like, they are going at it, and she's like, it's sometimes, you know, when the guy has the girl from behind, you're like, that's not real. They're just kind of grinding on each other and whatever. This looks like
You do know that you're wearing protective covering, right?
I
Just
don't
for
know,
all you
man.
people out there that might
they
wonder.
weren't in Brown Bunny.
You are. Well, that was the most
We'll talk
ridiculous.
about- we'll talk about
That's
that
the
in a
most.
Brown Bunny.
You never seen? All right, we'll talk about it in a second. We'll talk about it.
Just so you know out there, anyone cares, we do wear protective covering. They call it a sock. They have little flesh-colored G-string. That you are not actually bumping uglies. Just so you know, and if you are, then I don't want to work with you.
Then you're in Van Nuys, and
Seriously,
the crash
then you're-
services are not good.
Right, you're in Chatsworth, and you're working with someone that's definitely not an Oscar winner.
All right, we're going to try to get this mic fixed. We're going to do some other stuff here, and then we're going to come back and we're going to talk some more stuff. We will talk Brown Bunny and want to hear more calls from you guys.
All-time best sex scenes. We're talking them next on the Schmoes Know Movies podcast.
Okay, we're back. It looks like we got everything set. Bonnie should have her mic working. We're getting sexy time in Schmoeville. We are here with actress Bonnie Somerville.
Hi.
We are talking about sex in movies, and we just talked about before the break. We were talking about the Philip Seymour Hoffman and Marissa Tomei scene in Before the Devil Knows You're Dead is what the name of the film was.
Yes.
And Bonnie made a point. You think that scene, because if you guys have seen the scene, it's Philip Seymour Hoffman just going to town on her, but she is
It's
doggy style.
what the kids call doggy
Right.
style. That's when two dogs make love in
Right.
the park. They're not looking at each other.
Well, I'm sure a lot of animals do it that way, but the dogs got credit for it. But now you said that would be easier for you to do.
Well, yeah, because you're not facing each other. It's totally staged. She's face down in the pillow,
Right.
and she's not actually looking at him. I think eye-to-eye contact doing that would be a lot more intense.
Okay, now, but again, with Philip Seymour Hoffman, and one of the best actors out there right now, but not the most attractive guy in the world. So it's easier to say, okay, now I would just kind of be into this role, figure, I'm acting, I'm going to get out of it, I'm not going to get attracted. Now, the other side of this is there's a sex scene not even close to as graphic as this, but where chemistry can lead to something is The Notebook. There's a really big sex scene in that, not super graphic, but sex scene between Ryan Gosling and Rachel McAdams, and obviously the chemistry is so fantastic in that they started having sex in real life.
Can that happen? Like you're in the bedroom, you're wearing the sock, as you call it, the protective stuff, and then you're like, you know what? This is so much fun. I think when there's not 45 people looking at us with cameras, we should take these socks off.
Well,
see how
yeah,
it goes.
because that's a casualty of acting. I mean, how many people end up dating their co-stars, leaving their wives, having affairs? I mean, it really is a casualty of acting because you're in a fantasy land. It's like camp every day.
Right.
I mean, you've been on sets. You're in this isolated, like the world doesn't exist. You're together 14 hours a day. We're best friends. We're family. We're doing blah, blah, blah. And you believe it.
Right.
You believe it. And
it's
then
Neverland.
Right. And then it's like there's a joke they always say, it's not love, it's location.
Right. That makes sense.
Seriously, because when you're away shooting a movie for 6 weeks in the middle of Iowa and you just have your cast, that's it. You think your best friend, this is my family. We're
Right.
going to be. And then the movie ends and 99% of the time no one ever speaks again.
Right. Well, I mean, unless you work together.
For all you kids out there, be careful who you fall in love with.
Right,
Because
well-
if you fall in love with an actress, she may be on set somewhere in France making love to a really good-looking actor. That doesn't happen when your girlfriend works at Kinko's.
Civilians, watch out.
Yeah, it's the truth. I mean, but it's one of those things too, like where you said that you don't think that sometimes two actors and actresses are having this intense sex scene and it slips in. And they go,
No,
I think it does. I'm telling you,
You're crazy.
Brown Bunny. Brown
But
Bunny.
they were dating.
Well, that's my
Okay,
look.
let's get to the bottom of this Brown Bunny thing. What is this?
All right, so Brown Bunny is Vincent Gallo's movie. It was
One
like
of the worst
NC-17
movies ever.
But she, like,
It was
Chloe,
NC-17?
Yeah. Well, I'll tell you why. Chloe Sevigny, whatever.
Sevigny.
Thank you. She good actress. Okay, blows the dude.
Yeah.
Her boyfriend
On camera.
full. I mean, porn shot. Like
and she was dating Vincent Gallo. Okay?
Hence
Right.
the NC-17 rating. I don't understand the... Yeah, so it's NC-17.
Right,
I
but
thought we were talking, like, up to R. I didn't know that we could talk about hot
it's
Asian invasion
NC-17
7.
for a reason because she blows the guy on film. But what I'm saying is there's definitely other roles.
But
like,
that obviously wasn't uncomfortable for her because
no,
she
not for
was
that
his
one.
girlfriend.
Right. But I'm just telling you, they had to you don't think Angelina Jolie was in a scene back in her wild days when she was like and she's like, just let it go,
Let's
let
talk
it
about
go.
another thing. One Night in Paris. Now, do you think that Paris Hilton
Is an actress?
was
No.
uncomfortable when she was shooting those scenes?
Yeah,
I'm
no,
kidding,
yeah,
I'm
right.
kidding.
I think the camera was so uncomfortable.
Or Kim Kardashian and Ray J. Do you think that when they said cut?
I didn't know we were going to be talking Oscar caliber acting.
All
here.
right, all right.
All right, I'm going to take a phone call here from Austin. Austin, what do you got, dude?
All right, I want to talk to you guys about the worst sex scenes I've ever seen in the film here.
Can't wait.
Okay.
All right. Have you guys ever heard of a movie called The Room?
Yeah, with
Yes.
with Tommy Savu, whatever his stupid name is.
Yeah, Tommy White. So, like,
Yeah.
there's 5 sex scenes in that movie that, I swear to God, it could be marketed as a soft-core movie. It's so weird. Like, there's literally a scene in that movie where it looks like the main character's having sex with a girl's belly button.
Well, dude, thank you very much. A lot of people have actually mentioned that shitbox of a movie. And the funny thing was that with that thing is everyone knows The Room. It was like this kind of phenomenon of
I think they still have screenings around town, like where movie nerds will go and just laugh at how bad of a
they
terrible,
do. They
awful
do, and
movie it
people
is.
yell at the screen, and they know all the dialogue, and they act it out. And
Yeah, and it's just I can only imagine the pure absurdity that went into those sex scenes. But
yeah.
All right, so if you want a good laugh, check that out. We're going to take another phone call here with Justin. Justin, what's up, pal? What do you got?
Hey, I'm a big Sacha Baron Cohen fan, and the one thing that I've always wondered is for something like Bruno, where you obviously see that he's having. I don't know if it's simulated or not, but the scene involves him having sex with men and then walking around the Westboro Baptist Church people, spinning the guy around, and what he did in Bruno. Sacha Baron Cohen's a guy who goes all out.
Right.
I wonder if he actually what does he do for that shit?
Thank you. I love the way it was such a well put together question. So what does he do for that shit?
I don't even know what he does. What does he do?
That was awesome.
I don't even know what he does.
Amazing. But
Look, if you're a comedian, you really want the laugh. You'll do anything.
Yeah, that's the thing. You go.
It's a good
he
gag.
goes as far as he can. That's why he's been arrested.
He has no
That's why
fear.
there's a warrant for his arrest in the state. That's why he gets into conversations with racist idiots.
Yeah, he's 69's that dude.
But that's just pure comedy.
Of course, absolutely. But you still have a big, fat,
Could you do
hairy
that?
dude.
Could you do that?
Probably not. I'll be honest.
I think if it's that funny, I bet you they were standing around that set dying laugh. I bet you
I'm
the
sure.
crew, they were just losing their mind.
It's hard
It
for
was
me
like
to resist
Jackass.
a good gag. It really is.
It is.
It's hard
Me
for me
too.
to
If
resist
it's a gag,
Yeah.
if it's a gag, I think I could go that. I could do
Right.
that.
Now, if we get done and they're like, "Yeah, it wasn't that funny," I'm like, "What? That wasn't the funniest thing ever."
Yeah.
Right.
Oh boy.
What? His penis was slapping my face literally. How is that not hysterical?
Yeah, I want somebody to call in too and tell me if scenes that you've seen, because I want to have because Bonnie thinks it doesn't happen often. I think it happens way more
You're
than
obsessed with it slipping in.
I'm telling you.
Just the tip, baby.
Yeah.
Just
All right,
the
No
tip.
pun intended. We got to get off this.
No, I want to know. Here's a question though too.
I think he's like he wants to
It's
I don't
weird,
know.
right?
It's weird.
It's
You keep
wasn't
going.
weird. I'm just telling you that it
Christian,
happens.
I really don't think
You don't
in
think
this
Angelina
day-
Jolie was getting nasty with people back in the day? Yes, she was. She was like, just
wait,
let it go
Bonnie,
in.
I know how to end this. Christian,
What?
You're absolutely right.
Thank you. Okay,
You are
all
right.
right.
It
Let's
slips
go to
in all the time.
All right, I
I
appreciate
want
it.
to talk about one of the best sex scenes that has ever been captured on film. Because if for all of our young listeners,
Showgirls.
what sex is, okay? Sex is when two girls and Matt Dillon really love each other in a pool. That's what sex is. And Wild Things, it's one of the landmark sex scenes because he had two girls kiss in a pool.
That's right. Who didn't have their pants off in college watching that scene?
What I love is that Nev Campbell's
Me.
like the good
Oh.
girl, and then Denise Richards
of.
is the one that's like, I'll show everything. I
Yeah.
don't care.
Is that when Denise Richards was like a real actress, right?
Well, all right.
Still hot. Still hot.
Still hot. All right. Now we're going to take a couple tweets here. This one is from Canadian Pat. He asked, "What movies do you think would have been better with a little more intimacy?" Yeah, great. His pick is The Hunger Games.
Schindler's List.
Good Lord.
Wow.
Bonnie throwing out the zinger right for the juggler. I mean, there's a bunch. I mean, again, I know that my wife was actually calling for more in Harry Potter.
Hey, I wouldn't.
That she needs a therapist.
These are kids at the end. There are kids growing into sexuality. Like Hermione, when she's 18, not every guy was going, all right, let's get it done, Ron.
Hermione was hot by
Come on,
the third
Ron,
movie.
let's do it. By the way, another tweet that was sent by our buddy who calls himself Bobby Finstock from Teen Wolf. But he swears that Eric Stoltz, when he was filming The Mask, when he had sex with that hooker, that there's rumor that it slipped in there. That's what he says.
Boy, and we're back.
That's what he says.
And we're back.
All right, that's what I'm telling you. Okay, all right. Now we're taking a call now from Lucas on line 1. Lucas, what's up, man? You in the kitchen?
Hey guys, how's it going?
Hey.
Good. What's going on?
Hey, not much. One scene that I was thinking of that you guys haven't brought up yet is that scene with Monica Bellucci and Clive Owen and Shoot 'Em Up.
Right. Yeah. Well, that's a good one. Yeah. Thanks, dude. That movie's so bizarre, and I think that's when you get to a bizarre scene. Like they're having sex and he's like killing guys around him.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and I think that you could also bring up Crank.
Crank made me uncomfortable. It really did.
When he's having sex with Amy Smart outside of the...
Yeah, because it's like this pretty much rape that's happening, and it's got like a crowd of people like they're watching a cockfight.
Right.
It's weird.
Yeah.
I guess that's another dark place you could take this podcast since Christian is so hell-bent on penetration. Like the Jodie Foster rape scene in The Accused, the pinball. That's got to be really tough for an actress. Having said that, I'd still rather do it on a pinball machine against my will than have Philip Seymour Hoffman heaving behind.
Yeah.
There's a couple.
The Accused is really, that's one of my most greatest scenes about rape. I mean, she was unbelievable in that, but that's pretty intense.
In the Hall of Fame of rape scenes.
It was there.
That jersey's retired.
That was number 1 for a long time, but it was recently replaced with Girl with the Dragon Tattoo, because that scene is disturbing.
And I think the original, personally, the original. The original,
the original as well, and
that is, to me, that was way more hardcore.
Yeah, I mean that, and then there's also that one. I always forget the name of the movie with Monica Bellucci as well.
Oh Boys Don't Cry.
Boys Don't Cry,
I mean,
right? Oh yeah, I mean that's another one. So I mean, again, and that shows a place where actors and actresses go.
Right.
That it's like, I mean,
when you don't even enjoy watching it by yourself, you're a dude, and you turn on, you're like, I just feel weird. I feel like I'm watching a snuff film.
Right. Well, there's 2 spoof sex scenes that I'd like to talk about too. When you're going to go transition from rape to spoofs,
I know one of them.
Hot Shots.
Hot Shots is a great spoof sex
Hot
scene.
Shots and Naked Gun. Those are the 2.
Naked Gun.
Yeah, because Hot Shots is making 9.5 weeks was this huge sex scene.
Oh God, I remember watching that as a kid. Let me just say, I remember watching that as a kid and sneaking it. Like we would sneak it to watch it because all the we were like, "Ooh, have you seen 9.5 weeks?" Like it was like a thing to get to watch it.
Yeah, exactly.
It was the first time I believe food was really incorporated in the mainstream movie world with sex scenes.
Meanwhile, there wasn't even real sex in that. If you watch it now, it's all food and simulation and like it's psychological. Really,
it's just making out a Golden Corral around the chocolate waterfall. That's all it is in today's world. Hot Shots made fun of that. My favorite spoof sex scene in movie history, I have to say, I liked the movie, I didn't love it, MacGruber.
MacGruber's pretty silly
when he's
also.
doing that like he sounds like a squirrel when he's having an orgasm. It's pretty damn funny.
I'm so bummed that I can't hit this because I'm forgetting the name of the movie, but my favorite simulated sex scene is Captain America with the rope with the puppets.
Team America.
Holy shit! That is a great
That
sex
is one
scene.
of the
so funny.
I must have died. I mean, I literally cried during that, and the way that it just kept going and going and going. Then they're 69ing, and it just doesn't end. I mean, talk about great. That I would do.
Well, be a puppet.
Yeah.
Okay, that makes sense. Okay, now you know
they have Bonnie on strings.
Yeah, right. I could be like, it wasn't me, baby. Right. It wasn't me.
Now, one of the although those are all good, I think that
the puppets leaving the set. I got no strings.
Yeah.
Well, one of the best. Those are all really funny ones too. But our buddy at Kevin Morrison actually brings up the best spoof one ever, and that was the last Twilight film.
Oh God!
The last Twilight film when they break the bed and I mean, isn't that supposed to be a sexy scene? And it's just like, let's kill everyone who made this movie.
So ridiculous.
Yeah, it's so stupid. But
he's a vampire.
Again,
they break headboards.
But that just shows you even non-sexy stuff. And then those 2 started doing it off screen. So the co-star stuff when you have the romantic
she left
interest,
her boyfriend for him.
See,
she had a boyfriend a long time.
Well, that's what I'm saying. So like, I think that this stuff that can happen like all the time, like where like there's this, you have romantic and these sexy kind of scenes with people. if you're in the bed, it doesn't matter if there's crew members around, it is going to pique your interest and going, I wonder what this, like you said before.
Yeah, I think as far as like dramatic sex scenes, the one that really gets me the most is still Michael Douglas and Glenn Close in Fatal Attraction.
Yeah.
And that may be a hindsight is 2020 kind of thing, because you're watching them make out and go at it in the kitchen, and then they go to bed. And everybody's had that experience when you're making out with a girl for the first time, and you're like, I really hope she doesn't turn out to be crazy the next day. And you know what's going to happen.
Yeah, that
Michael
happens to me
Douglas
all the time.
and the pet rabbit.
Right. Well, one of the things, too, guys, again, we're talking sex movies with Bonnie Somerville. Call us at 888
God, I wish I had an amazing sex scene that we could talk about.
4374.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, I have some. They're just at home. They're just not. I'm kidding.
You got the night vision.
But that's actually, you brought up what's her face, Paris and Kardashian before doing those sex scenes,
which
too.
is why they're famous.
It's absolutely why they're
unbelievable.
famous.
I mean, I literally have joked with my own mother, Mom, maybe I should. My mom's like, maybe you should do a sex tape. You know, joking, but not really. I mean, it's crazy.
It's the truth, because even like some of these scenes, and because the internet blows up. If there was something like, again, Bonnie's got a pilot coming out, a show coming out in January, right?
Yeah.
Called Golden Boy. It's going to be a huge hit. Make sure you watch it on CBS. And the thing is, too, like Bonnie, big star of Golden Boy, and then you hear Bonnie Somerville has a sex tape? I am watching that. And the next thing you know, she's more famous, she's on more TV shows, and plus the fact that she can actually act.
Yeah.
So it's like, can you imagine?
It's a big draw. I love that we still call it a sex tape. Like there's somebody running around with a VHS.
Tape. I know. I love that too. It's like,
what are you going to call it?
Mixtape.
Sex QuickTime?
I said the mixtape the other day. I was like, I made a mixtape.
Yeah.
And then I went, oh, I missed the mixtape.
That's right. I saw that. And by the way, you guys, Bonnie sends out.
Before you go to New York, I want you to play it in your Walkman.
Van Halen. It's just all Van Halen.
Oh my God, my Sony Walkman. I still have it. I still have it.
Speaking of which, Bonnie sends out great tweets. Make sure you follow her at Bon Somerville.
Yeah, follow me.
Yeah,
is that with a U or an O?
It's O.
S-O.
S-O.
1M.
Yeah, so, all right, we're going to take a couple more. We got one more call here. We got Jose calling in with he wants to talk about the most awkward sex scene in movie history. And Jose's been killing it lately, so let's see what he's got. Jose, what's up, dude?
Hey, guys.
What do you got, brother, man?
I just want to talk about, like, for me, the most awkward sex scene in history has to be from Avatar, because you got people, or these blue-skinned cat monkeys, doing it.
Oh, Avatar.
Avatar. You said Avatar.
Yeah, he's got some Latin fire, man.
Jose, I love your accent, Avatar.
And they got to do it with their ponytails, and I'm thinking to myself, that's pretty convenient.
Do it, too.
That's right, that's true.
You know, and they're doing it, blue-skinned cat monkey style, and it's like, oh yes, ride me like Turuk Mukta, and then I don't know, she's like, oh my God, I've got a spit curl.
Jose, three for three, man.
She's
Thank
like, don't jizz on my weave.
That's right. See, that's the name of the sequel. So
that is on my weave.
That is pretty
coming soon.
Awkward. Anytime you have like
in a world
scenes
where
like that,
jism is flying free.
But anytime you don't have humans having sex, like. I feel like I'm in kindergarten. Calm down, kids. We got stuff to talk about.
I'm sorry. Let's go back to what Chris was talking about. I know it slipped
Listen,
in.
I know it slipped in. Let's talk about it. I mean, Bonnie,
the Avatar
Bonnie, don't you think that sometimes? I mean, come on, it's got to slip in, Bonnie. It's got to. Come on.
I'm not Arnold, and yes, it has slipped in a couple times. You don't think Arnold? You don't think Arnold Schwarzenegger said you're not going to be in this movie because I'm fucked against the wall?
That famous Arnold Schwarzenegger story where his wire was on. I don't know if it's true, but urban legend. His wire, his mic pack was on, and it's a famous urban legend where he had some extra in his trailer, and everyone on set's listening to him be like, "Don't forget the shaft, stroke the shaft."
Dude, there's hundreds of stories about him. One of my favorites is apparently they walked in on him like going down on some woman, and he looks up, and this was in Entertainment Weekly. I read this thing, and he goes, "Eating is not cheating."
Yeah,
this is the best line ever. Between that, and then he was hitting on some woman.
So even when he's not shooting up a bunch of drug lords, he still has the quick one-liner.
I thought Bill Clinton said that. I thought Bill Clinton said that.
No, this was Arnold, because I read this whole. I was like, it was one of the best things. I couldn't put this article down. I couldn't believe this stuff. This was like maybe about 2002, 2003 when this came out. And there was another thing where this woman said that he used to, she used to come on to set, and he would hit on her all the time. And then finally, he's like, I have a boyfriend. The boyfriend comes to set. He's like, so this is the reason you didn't suck my cock? Like to the guy, and the guy's like, oh, it's Arnold. Hey, it's like that.
It's Arnold. What are you
It's Arnold. He says that's the guy who, basically admitted everything he did. I'm sorry about that. Amazing. amazing stuff. But that's
and
Arnold.
Sly Stallone. There's tons of tons of urban legends about him.
Right, but he got a divorce at least, before whatever. But
the only difference is that when Sly is hitting on a girl, he's looking up at her. Arnold was looking down.
Right. Oh, this is a great tweet. And this is something we should definitely talk about. And something I want to know, Bonnie, again, if you'd be able to do this in a movie with a director as great as this. This is from Old School Losers Club. Okay, great. The sex scene in Black Swan.
Oh.
Fantastic, because Darren Aronofsky,
not going to complain about that,
is pushing out Oscar movies every time he picks up a camera.
Mm-hmm.
If he says, Bonnie, listen, here's the role. You're going to have to,
it's going to be you and Rhea Perlman.
No.
Your ballerinas.
I would. No, if it was Rhea Perlman, I think it would be more of like a modern jazz movie.
Pick up my leg. Pick up my leg.
Maybe tap.
Pick up my leg.
Come on, jazz hands.
Come on.
Two-step. We're going to do a two-step, Shane.
Use the tongue.
Me and
Use the tongue. Now,
would you do that though?
Yes.
Because
easier to do a sex scene with a hot Mila Kunis than it is with a sexy guy with. Really? Why is that?
Because women, it's the whole age-old thing. Why can girls make out and not be gay?
This isn't making out. This is going down.
No, but I'm talking about it's a whole thing about why girls will have made out, or I made out in college or whatever. No.
You have?
That's not what I'm talking about. And men, can't do that because if they're not homosexual, that's a whole age-old discussion. And it's because, honestly, women are so much more, like, they're emotional, they're nurtured. It's not that big of a deal for two girls. It's not a big deal. But for men that aren't homosexual, it's this huge...
Right. Well,
like, when men kiss on camera in a movie,
people go, whoa,
people go bananas.
I've never seen Brokeback Mountain, but I hear there's, to level the playing field.
Is that the Statham flick?
That's all.
Oh. No?
That's also going for the Oscar, though, and I think that when somebody
going for the Oscar,
a statue in front of you, you're willing to jump over a lot of pits with a lot of snakes in it to get that trophy.
That's right.
Yes.
Ted the teddy bear is calling in from Seth MacFarlane's new film. Ted, no, we actually have Ted's calling in. Ted, what do you got, buddy?
Hey, I was just going to mention Titanic.
Oh yeah,
that's a pretty awkward because it's hot and all, but I mean, Kate Winslet's like, put your hands on me.
Right.
And then she's all like, no, to the stars, and
no,
all
she's
that,
like, just draw me instead.
Well, she's pumping orders to the help. Is what she's doing.
She's like, just draw the crap out of me.
That's right. Well, that's right. Thank you, Ted.
Sketch me.
It is so...
for a month after that movie, guys were hitting on girls at bars. They're like, why don't you come back to my place and I'll draw you.
Yeah. Sitting outside like they're in Paris.
Yeah.
Let me just draw you here. Can I
drawing a stick figure. How long do I pretend I'm drawing
with
this?
With big boobies.
Yeah, it's just a stick figure with two nipples. But, also in that scene is that silly ass... At the time when you see it, you're like, oh, man, this is romantic. But then you see her hand slap the car and you're like, what? Where'd that come from?
Slap the window.
Slap the window. Right. And it slides down. And I mean, it's a corny scene.
Christian, it's because she's so moved.
Christian's like, but did it go in, though, when she did that?
That one, I don't think so.
Where was Billy Zane, huh?
Seriously. Was he
Billy
there?
Zane hooking
was
up
he
with
watching
Kathy
on
Bates?
set?
All right, fine. You guys want to be naive?
All right,
fine.
Oscar, you have to make out with Kathy Bates.
And
yes.
I always
Let's just say yes.
where you got your passion for movies from, because I do admire it. You love movies.
Nobody loves movies more
I
than
realize it is because he thinks they're real. He thinks Tatooine is a real planet.
I'm going there next week.
He's like, Ted is going to come over and play with me. I'm going to make him happen tonight. I'm going to wish it. I'm going to wish that Ted comes over.
Well, if you watch our Ted review, I turned Mark into a bear, so that worked for me.
Hey, honey, let's go skiing at the Ice Planet of Hoth this weekend.
Fuck off. All right. Now, we also have Matthew Schmoer. Perfect name.
Good name.
Yeah. He says, I think Piranha 3DD piranhas coming out of the girl's vagina and biting the dick was the stupidest sex scene ever, and I would have to agree.
Yeah.
That was so stupid, and it was the girl from 30 Rock, the blonde, like the dumb blonde girl that's in that show, and she played this girl, and somehow the piranha gets in there, and this ridiculous scene. I know it's supposed to be over the top, but it was so horrendous.
Bonnie, we had this whole talk when we reviewed Piranha 3DD, which is where, and I feel a lot like the scene in Girl with a Dragon Tattoo, where it's so, you feel so off-put by it that you can't get aroused. It's the same thing with Piranha 3DD, because it's so stupid, and these girls are so trashy.
Right.
It doesn't do anything.
But that's like but isn't that like in all the classic horror films when they have like a sex scene? You can't. It's not like sexy because you know someone's going to get killed afterwards.
Yeah.
You know, like the classic, like old horror movies.
Well,
they would always have a girl naked, or you know.
Well, yeah,
what
I mean, even like Cabin in the Woods when they spoofed it, when they had that girl in the they had her get nailed in the woods, and then her head gets cut off.
Until the axe murderer has gotten into the house, I'm still on board with the sex scene. Take your shower, get in your jacuzzi. Until he's actually inside the house, then I'll start to get nervous.
I have a question. Do you think it's weird, and I wonder if anyone else out there does, do you feel odd when you're watching a sex scene in front of people, either like at
Guys
a movie?
or girls?
Either. Do you ever feel awkward? Like, let's say, like I remember, like any time a movie would come on, if my mom was watching a film, I would absolutely. But even in a movie theater, do you ever sit there and go, right?
Let me tell you about Mrs. Ellis.
I just tell people to get out.
Mrs. Ellis had a superpower where she would always come in the room during the sex scene in the movie. Even if it wasn't a dirty movie.
And
I
it was
watching,
you with a camera on and a bottle of lotion. It's
just
weird.
me and the tissues.
Right.
So
and you're like, Ma!
I had a cold, Ma.
Meatloaf! Ma!
Indecent Proposal at the beginning when they're having, it's showing how much they're in love with each other and doing it on the kitchen floor. It's a good movie and it's a really dramatic
And that was the
movie.
one that got you?
That's the one where Mom walks in. She's like, what are you watching?
Right.
I'm like,
Well, when that happens, because that always seems to happen, like right when you're.
I just mean, even in the theater,
What are
do
you
you ever get
watching?
weirded out with other people that you don't like?
Depends.
My Catholic upbringing, I'm like, I get like hives when there's other people there. I'm like, oh God, oh God.
If Paul Rubens is in the theater, I go
then I'd be nervous about that as well. But you know what's also scary about it? Let's say you're dating like a really great actress who's in these sex scenes, and you're cool with it too. But then you see, she's like, "Honey, I'm acting," right? But then she's like, "Well, that was a really intense scene that you."
She's like, "Honey, but it slipped in. But what's the big deal?" Yes, did it
but
slip
she's
in?
orgasming, and she's orgasming in the film, and you're like, "That was really realistic. That seems like it was the same it was last Thursday. Is she faking?" You know what I'm saying? So a good actress can. Then you have to. Then that makes the guys insecure. Do you find that like with guys like that you've dated are insecure about like as far as like when in bed? So in bed. That's what I mean. That's what I'm saying.
No, but I've definitely had guys actually literally say to me like, "Well, you could be like acting, like you could be totally lying because you're." And I'm like, "Really? You really? Yeah. Well, I mean, how do I know I can believe you?"
I mean, and
that's the power you wield as a female sorceress. You can fake the orgasm; they're none the wiser. They just don't know.
Well,
that's the truth. All right, we're going to take guys. Call
Imagine
in.
being an actress on a date with Christian Harloff. Did it go in?
Yeah.
Did it go in?
Did it go in? But let's just
I'm
talk
not saying I would slip it in. What I'm telling you is that it has happened in film. That is my point.
How do you know that? You're so.
It has happened. Are you kidding me?
Oh my God!
Unbelievable.
If anybody out there has had that happen in film, please call.
Yeah, listen. Tweet us at @schmoesknow and at Bonnie Somerville if you think that it has happened or not.
I'm going on
happened.
my tweet to see if anyone's tweeting.
Do it. I want to know. And we got another call here. Who we got? Anybody?
Garrett.
Hey, Garrett. What's up, dude? What do you got? You sleeping?
If there was one actress that you would just completely just go crazy, just like go absolutely nuts on, who would it be and what would you do specifically? Be very detailed.
Oh,
that is a great question, Garrett.
Guys, I think you're calling the wrong. I think he meant to call the Playboy Channel.
I am prepared to answer it.
Well,
I am getting my DeLorean. I'm putting plutonium in it. And I'm setting it to 1976 so I can hang out with Jessica Lange from the remake of King Kong.
So that's
never has woman been hotter on screen.
That's a great question. So who would your sex scene be with if you could have a sex scene?
I would make Skull Island love to her.
Right. If I could go back in time and I wasn't married and I could be in the absolutely terrible, awful movie Fair Game with Cindy Crawford, I would have been in that one.
Oh my!
Good.
What's the number here to call in? I'm tweeting it.
Well, we're almost out of time, but we have 2 more minutes.
All right.
But it's 888-520-4374 if we have enough time.
And I need to put this out there because, again, this is the generation.
Don't let Bonnie off the hook. Bonnie.
I'm not going to let Bonnie off the hook, but she's tweeting, and in the meantime, I'm going to say that I think maybe one of the hottest sex scenes is the scene with the woman by herself, and that's Sharon Stone when she's getting interrogated in Basic Instinct.
Of course. Well,
that's
in that
how
movie,
a lot of little boys became little men.
Oh, she bangs all over the place in that.
Yeah, but talk about sex scenes. That's one I wanted to talk about. That is so hardcore.
Oh, man.
I mean, there's so many hardcore.
Sharon Stone let it slip
in the bedroom.
All right, Bonnie. So, you're single at this point. Not now, but I'm saying if
or
you're
any point,
at any point, and you have a sex scene, who is it with?
I would say definitely
Burt Reynolds.
I like that I put the time travel element.
If I already actually let me get in my DeLorean. Speaking, if it's from the past,
we can share a DeLorean.
Let me go past. I'll get in your DeLorean. I'll go back to Richard Gere in American Gigolo.
All right.
Wow. Okay. Good.
I mean, that was pretty unbelievable.
All right. Well, all right. Listen, we're out of time.
With the stipulation that after you're done, he carries you out as they play back up where we belong.
And I say to him, I go, "Get jets, get jets."
So all right.
And it slips in.
It's perfect. All right, guys. So that is our show. Bonnie, you got to come back because we need to talk about your show.
I love you guys.
All right, so
Good
at
luck
Bon
in New
Somerville.
York City.
Thank you.
At Bon Somerville,
At Bon
Schmoes Know, and we're going to make our Spider-Man review live in about 2 seconds. So go on youtube.com/Schmoes Know, and our Spider-Man review will be up any second.
Heidi and Frank next on the Toad Hop Network. Thanks for listening, kids.